Today's video comes from Soraya, and her channel will be linked in the description so you can go check her out and support her.
It's showing self-hate because if you don't love your own mother, you came from your mother, so you should look up to her and worship her as beautiful. But since you don't own your love your own mother, you are worshiping white women, and it sends a message of self-hate. That's what it sends.
Once again, she is using a great shaming tactic. You hate your mother, you don't love your mother, which is the reason you turned your back against your mother and all other black women by marrying a woman that doesn't look like you. What does one thing have to do with the other? Somebody please explain in the comment section, because it does not make any sense up here. She's talking about self-hate. Let's talk about a couple of signs of self-hate that a lot of women do nowadays. Wearing weaves, making their skin look brighter and lighter than what it's really looked like.
Nah, Soraya did not really just go there. No, she did not just really go there. Oh my gosh. Ooh. I'm gonna tell y'all something I saw in a video some time ago where there was a Filipina clapping back at black women who were, coming at her, coming at Filipinas, and she literally grabbed her hair and she pulled it into the camera and then she tugged on it and it was long, beautiful hair. She says, "Look at that. See that? That's real hair. Something you ladies don't have." Okay? And these were Filipinas who were married to foreigners, who were married to black men, and black women were coming after them. And they started putting them on blast. I told you women can get real nasty. They can get real nasty, and it's not just with men. They can be even nastier to one another. And this is the type of thing that's coming now. Because, if there's one thing that all men of different ethnicities know when it comes to black women is don't mess with their hair. Because they are very, very sensitive about their hair. So when you start saying, listen, y'all out here wearing weaves. Y'all out here wearing weaves trying to cover up those roots, all right? Trying to cover up those curls. Y'all out here wearing weaves, all right? Stop acting like that's natural hair, okay? Maybe it's Maybelline, but it's definitely not yours. It's definitely not yours. So they're feeling it. Those are shots fired right there. Those are shots. Those are shots fired. And then, of course, the makeup, trying to make your skin look lighter. So, they're out here attacking men for going out and getting into relationships with people who appreciate them and celebrate them. But then the reality is that they're also out here, getting fake hair, putting on fake hair that doesn't, some poor little Indian woman's hair that, that she cut off her hair and sold her hair for 79 cents so that it could be sold in the United States for $300 and then be glued on for another $200 so that a woman could wear it, so a black woman could wear it for 2 weeks and feel like she's special. It's really sad. And then they have some nerve, they really have some nerve to talk. It's just the reality of it. So they're getting called out, wearing all of this makeup to lighten their skin to look like someone they are not. Like if it's really about being black and proud, then show who you are. Show your natural curl, sister. Show your natural skin tone, sis. Show the world who you are. Like you should not go from looking like the color of a wallet to looking like the color of a milkshake. In seconds or in just minutes. Like it's not supposed to happen. You wipe your face and all of a sudden you're a different person. These women went around causing trouble, picking fights, attacking these men. These men basically picked up, walked away, said they don't want to have anything to do with these individuals. They'll go where they're appreciated, go where they're celebrated. And now you have these women attacking them, shaming them, saying that if you don't date black women, it means it's because you don't like your mother. You don't love your mother. You're supposed to worship your mother. And it's because you're not worshiping your mother why you're acting like this and why you're treating black women poorly and why you're not dating black women. It's a form of hatred. Check this out, guys. So if you do not date black women as a black man, that's a form of hatred. And don't be shocked when they start using the word violence as well. Because these are agents of the state. All they do is gaslight. The same people who did not want you are now the same people who are attacking you for walking away. Guys, I told you they're invading every single space. They hate the fact that we play video games as men because we're not putting our central focus and attention on them and providing assets and resources for them. So of course they're going to invade the gaming industry. They're going to invade video games and make video games into something that is unappealing, something that we can't even stand playing anymore, something that we don't want to do anymore. But the key is this: we'll just create new spaces. And the thing is that they're not completely destroying the video game industry, they're destroying the mainstream video game industry. There's a ton of great indie developers out there. GOG is out there. And even though GOG is the largest is the largest store out there that offers free game, not simply free games, but rather DRM free games, meaning that you can download your games and save them, back them up, and they cannot be taken away from you. There are other indie stores out there that also do offer games, not necessarily as mainstream as some of the games on GOG, but you can download these games, back them up, and enjoy them. Men will just create new spaces, and these industries will collapse. Because men basically are natural minimalist. We're already not spending money like that. Women make 80% of consumer purchases, and men pay 80% of all taxes. But if we're not having children, we're not taking care of wives, we're not planning for the future for our families, then we're going to keep all of that wealth to ourselves. We're going to basically save it and invest it. This is the reason why Kamala Harris wants to tax unrealized capital gains, because they don't want us to be able to cultivate wealth anymore. They don't want us to be able to grow wealth anymore. Like, this is something that is out of the playbooks of Marxism. Taxing unrealized capital gains. So they're going to tax you for money that you have not even received yet. And if it then goes down in value suddenly, are they going to return that money to you? Absolutely not. This would basically leave a lot of people in significant amounts of debt. It would absolutely incentivize not investing in the most common things. So what are people going to do? What will men do? We'll basically build our own things. We'll create our own things. We'll trade for the things that we want and need. We'll create entirely new markets. We'll focus on crypto if we're still able to. And we'll walk away from the mainstream. We'll leave society and let it crumble without us. I've already told you guys that the next time there's a catastrophe, men just won't come out. There's a hurricane, men won't save the day. Let the military do that. We don't have enough military personnel. We need men. Yeah, too bad. There's a war. We need you guys to go and fight. Ha ha ha. Send the women. Send the women.
We're using all of that makeup. But to be honest with you, that goes for all women, because you do have a lot of non-black women who get surgery done to get a black woman's features, such as a BBL, lip fillers, and they even get surgery on their nose. That goes for all women. But again, she's using shaming tactics, and honey, you're not looking cute doing this. And when I look around, I see a lot of black men who are in an interracial relationship who are just trying to live their best life to the best of their abilities and not worried about anyone else. They're just trying to enjoy life with the person who accepts them for who they are, who is soft-spoken, who's not combative, who's not entitled, who's not disrespectful. Meanwhile, you have other women, though, who are upset at the fact that other men are moving on and women are living the life that they want to live. But honey, the recipe is very easy. Just be feminine. I've seen a post today, somebody posted a meme saying, if you want a woman to be feminine, you got to take away her masculine responsibilities. I didn't know that responsibilities had a sex.
You see, I absolutely adore Soraya. I love her content. I'm one of her biggest supporters. But this is where me and her constantly disagree. Where she will say, these women need to learn how to be feminine. And I will respond, you cannot turn a masculine into a feminine. Okay? Women overseas are raised to be wives and mothers from the time of birth. From they are little girls, they are taught these things. Okay? All women have the same nature. All women have female nature, but they go about getting what they want different ways. And there are different things that are important to them. For example, a Filipina, yes, all women want nice stuff. Yes, all women want possessions. But at the end of the day, a Filipina will always choose her family over physical objects because she knows that her family is the center of her life. Women in Western society, they don't know anything about family. all they know about is consumerism. How can we prove this? Because women make 80% of all consumer purchases in Western society, in the United States, and men pay 80% of all taxes. So we're basically footing the bill for the expenses of women. Consider this. The average woman will leave a deficit on the economy over the course of her life. So by the end of her life, she will have left a deficit on the economy. While men, over the course of a man's life, at the end of his life, he will have left a surplus. So women will take more money. The average woman will take more money out of the economy than she puts into the economy over the course of her life, while the average man will put more money into the economy than he takes out of the economy over the course of his life. And one of the most notable things is that married men and fathers pay more taxes. As men are choosing not to have children, not to get married, not to go on dates, not to have relationships in Western society, what do you think that means for society? The very notion that, there's a bunch of people coming to the United States right now, and they're going to make up the workforce and take the jobs that the men are leaving behind is a load of crap. It's a total load of crap. Many of those jobs cannot even be done by a lot of those people. If anything, it could be a plus for some of those jobs, a boom. For example, we don't want to pick our own strawberries. We don't want to work in those fields. And many of those people are not going to contribute to the economy. They're not even going to take those jobs. They're going to collect public assistance. They're going to take government aid and government benefits and government handouts that's going to ensure that they remain lifetime Democratic voters, lifetime leftist voters. So they're not coming here to be engineers and doctors. They're not coming here to be steel mill workers. They're not coming here to go work in the fields and do the jobs that we don't want to do. Overall, the reality is they're coming here to have a comfortable life. They're coming here to get the things that we as typical American citizens don't even qualify for a lot of the time. They're not going to be laboring and pillaging. And of course, you know what? I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because why should we expect people to come to the United States and then go and suffer to do the jobs that we don't even want to do? I'm just being honest. We don't want these jobs. Why do you think they want these jobs? They're coming for a better life. They want to move on up. They're moving on up. They're moving on up. And if men are leaving these jobs behind, and people who are coming to the country are leaving these jobs behind, where does all this extra tax revenue come from? It comes from debt. It just gives the people on the left a greater opportunity to say that, oh, we need to, spend money on this, on these programs and these programs, because when they're spending money on public assistance, they're also getting a cut of it. They get a cut from the child support. They get a cut from all the public assistance programs. They get a cut from everything. It costs something like $100,000 to incarcerate a single prisoner in California right now. $100,000 a year? For $100,000, we could literally just put these people in give them a roof over their heads, give them a meal ticket, and that's it. Like, we could, for that kind of money, for the amount of money that it's costing to incarcerate the average person, we could just give these people comfortable lives and we would save a ton of money. Like, right now, hands down, give them a place to live, give them a couple $1,000s a month, give them food vouchers, give them an EBT card and put $1,000 on it, whatever. And they have enough money to live, play video games, buy their alcohol, do whatever the hell they want to. And because a lot of the reason why people are in prison is because of poverty. The average person would not be out in the streets committing crimes and doing these things if their basic needs were met. Now, don't get me wrong, I am not a proponent for public assistance, because when you start living off the state, that's a horrible thing, and that's just a pathway and a gateway to slavery. However, if you were to just give these people money, like, don't just hand it, like, cover the cost of living, put a roof over their heads, cover their cost of food, give them some pocket money, enough to buy their video games, buy their alcohol, and just chill. Most of these people would stop committing crimes. If they want a car, get them a car. It doesn't have to be the best car, but get them a car. Help them get a used vehicle or whatever. Get them a car. And the car, in fact, they could let it be brand new. It doesn't matter, because that's a one-time purchase. Once they have a roof over their head and all their other basic needs are met, that's it. So as you can see, the states are just funneling money back to themselves. They're laughing at us. We're the ones getting robbed. It should not cost $100,000 a year to incarcerate someone. The state is taking advantage of us and putting all of that money in its pocket while claiming that, oh, we need all of this money to protect you. No, you're just using this money to enrich your own lives, and using the prison system as a way of indentured servitude in slavery.
Responsibilities are responsibilities. When you're a fully grown adult, you gotta work, you gotta pay your bills, you gotta be responsible. But since she wants to mention wealthy rappers who sent a certain message to young black boys, let's talk about all of the female entertainers that sent a very clear message to a lot of young girls. What are young girls exposed to? We got Sukiana, we got Ice Spice, we got Sexy Red, and other social media influencers who have a large following, such as the infamous Sprinkle Lady going by the name of Shira7.
Ooh, Soraya's bad. Ooh, she's bad. She's bad. She brought receipts. She brought receipts. She brought receipts. You see, guys, these women are out here running their mouths, and they want to call out they want to call out men, they want to call out all of these other people. But when you start showing up and saying, okay, but what about you? What about what you've been doing? Right? What about the people in your community? What about the people in your community? What have they been doing? What about Lizzo? Okay? Look at what Lizzo has done to a generation of young women. What about Cardi B? And that disgusting song, WAP. All right? You know what WAP stands for? WAP stands for wet ass kitty. That's what it stands for, right? I cannot even say it because it is so vulgar. And in the song, she's like, gush, gush, gush. Like, nobody wants that, bro. That's disgusting. That's disgusting. That song was not for men. That song was for simps. That was a nasty song. Dirty song. No one wants to hear about that. Like, these women are insane. Like, let me just be very clear to you about this whole thing about the female orgasm. That's a myth. What you really have? Oh, they're like, there's this gush of a fluid. No, bro. These are women who have weak bladders. That's pee. All right. That's not some magical fluid that came from God. That's urine. That's urine. They've done studies on this actually, and they've basically found that it's urine. It's urine. So dudes are there like, oh my gosh, my girl did it for the first time. Bro, she just pissed all over you. You have pee. Ew. You damn simp. You're like, oh my, and you're like, I got some in my mouth. It tasted great. It was delicious. You got these simps out here drinking pee and celebrating it. Nasty, nasty, nasty. That's why I tell you that when it comes to PORN, it's not for you. It's for simps. And guys, if you're enjoying the content, check out the Angry Guy Clubhouse. YouTube has been reducing or even eliminating ad revenue on many of my videos. If you want to help keep the content free and support my work, please consider becoming a paid subscriber in the Angry Guy Clubhouse. Inside, you'll get top-tier expat and passport bro travel tips, digital nomad guides, passive income strategies, pop culture and geek culture commentary, and hard-hitting manosphere content. Free subscribers have access to videos, podcasts, articles, and the community chat, plus receive the passive income blueprint and digital nomad blueprint just for subscribing. Paid subscribers unlock even more value, including exclusive guides like the How to Build an Online Business in 24-hour ebook, wealth building blueprints, and crypto updates. Join us today by clicking the link in the description and take your journey to the next level.
What do these characters tell young women nowadays growing up? And not even young women, even fully grown adult women in their mid-30s. They're telling these women, don't respect the man, you don't need a man. Make sure you use your looks getting a man. Don't date a man if the man is not rich.
Y'all, sprinkle, sprinkle. Please stop letting these dusties talk you into lowering your standards. Those standards are there for reasons to keep out dusties. So if the man can't reach the standards, dismiss him and allow another man to come through and try to reach them standards. That's how you get the life you want. Sprinkle, sprinkle.
Do you know who else has high standards and morals? Those wealthy men that you are looking for. But in order for you as an average woman to meet those high standards and morals, you're going to have to stop being in them streets. You're going to have to stop being wild, showing yourself all over social media. Instead of that, you would have to learn about being feminine. You would have to learn about companionship, being there for a man, speaking to a man a certain way. You know, a lot of women are saying, I can only be feminine when a man makes a certain amount of money. That has nothing to do with anything. You cannot turn on and off your femininity like a light switch. And I always say that either you got it or you don't. And if you don't have it, you can learn it.
And this is where me and Soraya disconnect. So she goes, either you have it or you don't have it. We agree on that completely, but then she says, you can learn it. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. You can learn how to pretend. Okay? Femininity is not something that you can just learn. Femininity is something that is a part of your character as a person. You will notice a difference between men and women as children, boys and girls, the way that girls carry themselves and the way that boys carry themselves. It does not matter if you have a girl who is a tomboy and likes to climb trees and and do things that are traditionally associated with boys. That's just normal kid behavior. Okay? Just because women enjoy doing things that are traditionally associated with men, there's nothing wrong with that. No, you have very feminine women who like to do things that guys like to do. And you have very masculine men that like to do things that are traditionally associated with women. That's really more of a cultural thing, and they become cultural norms that, this is something that women tend to do more than men, so you assume that it's a gender-related thing. But think about this carefully. Prior to the modern day era, if you go back to WW2 and WW1, most of the nurses were not women, they were men. Nursing was a predominantly male field that women took over starting after the 70s when women's liberation came around, and women decided that they wanted to go into the field of nursing. They enjoyed nursing and they took it over and they pushed out all the men. And then that's something that they've done with medicine in general now, where most doctors in the United States are women. Most people in the medical field are women. Over the next 10 years, that's already the vast majority of the medical field is women, but it's only going to become even more pronounced over the next 10 years as more of the boomers retire and even some of the Gen Xers. You're like, some of the Gen Xers angry? Guys, the first generation of my people are turning 60 next year. Yeah, we're turning 60 next year, y'all. It's not a game. Gen Xers, they still look good though. We still look good. But the first of Gen X are turning 60. And, 10 years from now, that's 70 years old. That's why I said, it's not like a lot of time. For those who can retire, they're going to retire and they're going to leave these jobs behind. Sure, the boomers are holding on in the workforce longer than ever, but many of them are going to be leaving eventually. Okay? Many of them are not. They're not going to stick around to 80 years old doing paper pusher work unless they feel like they're being fairly compensated. Many of them are going to take off, start collecting Social Security, and pillaging the economy in every other way that they can, selling their stocks, cashing out 401ks, and taking Carnival cruise adventures and keeping the party going. And as more and more of these men leave the economy, as more of these men leave these positions, specifically in the medical field, in this case, women are going to become even a greater force. Don't be surprised where you'll start to have like not even 70%, between 70 and 90% of doctors will be women. 90% of the medical field, of the nursing field, is composed of women, right? Is composed of women. Over 90%. So we're heading in a direction where, 70 to 90, even over, it could happen within the next 10 years, 10 to 20 years, definitely. But even over the next 10 years, we could be facing somewhere between 70 and 90% of all doctors being women. Right now, it's above it. Right now, women are the majority of all doctors in the US. It's well above 50%. But as the boomers retire and more men walk away from society, walk away from these fields, because they're not going into them anymore, they're abandoning medicine, they're going to be the majority of doctors as well. And the truth of the matter is that while women are acting like, oh yeah, power, they can't work those long hours. When you compare most women, most female doctors, especially Gen Z women, will never work those long hours. They won't work those long shifts. They're not built for it. A lot of them will admit to it. Yes, Mayumi does it. She messages me, she sends me an email sometimes whenever she's at work, and we'll talk back and forth a little bit. But most women, and I've talked to her about how the heck she's able to stay up all that time, and she's explained it to me. But the average Gen Z woman is not doing that. They're not doing that. And even a lot of the millennial women, they're going to get burnt out because they have nothing else going in life. They've basically put all their eggs in one basket, and now they're entering into their 40s and they have nothing to show for it. And if you're a Gen X woman, it's even worse. You're entering into your mid 40s or your 50s and you have absolutely nothing to show for it. I don't even want to get to the oldest members of Gen X, who are now entering into their 60s in a couple of months, and they have nothing to show for it. For a man, it's different because life is never easy for us, and we're just always rebuilding. We're always rebuilding, and we don't need much to survive. Women, on the other hand, they need more than we do. They need quite a bit more than we do, and then they also need support. Men are increasingly learning to live without support, learning how to be self-sufficient, learning how to look inside, because no one cares about your problems and no one cares about you. This is something that women don't understand. And a lot of these women, when things are going downhill, when they're miserable and they're in the states of pain and suffering and destitution, they're going to be turning to simps and thinking that these simps are going to be there to help them out and to talk to them. And, it's like they're going to be opening up OnlyFools pages and thinking that all this attention from simps is actually making them valuable. But they'll find out that these simps really don't care about them.
So if you don't bring anything to the table, honey, you will be left behind. It doesn't matter how many shaming tactics you are using. It doesn't matter how many times you are going to put your finger on the man and say it's all his fault. It's all going to rely to you because you're going to be the one that's alone looking for a man.
It sends a message of self-hate when so many black men who gain success all of a sudden switch. Black women should stop supporting men like this.
No offense, young lady, but it seems like that the average working class modern woman doesn't even want to support the average working class man. So what makes you think that an average working class modern woman with this type of mindset will be able to support a high value man? There are so many things that the average working class woman would have to learn, and that is a fact. And it all starts with you. You cannot use these shaming tactics. You cannot be disrespectful. Try to use the same type of tactics that you are using towards your supervisor. Maybe you'll be able to have a relationship that works better than the last one you had.
Men are in their era right now. A lot of men are in their soft guy era. It started out as a joke, but it's very, very serious. So many guys are literally saying, what have you done for me lately? What have you done for me? And what have you done for me lately? Or what can you do for me? Because they're not jumping into relationships with broke girls anymore. And a lot of dudes are like, okay, well, you want something from me? Well, you're going to have to bring something to the table. And, kitty is not enough. Okay? Like, I would rather money from you than kitty. Because men have had to learn how to live without even a shred of validation or kindness or kitty for years and decades at a time. Women think that they can just show up with used up kitty and leverage it and men are just going to jump to their beck and call. They don't understand they have nothing to offer us in Western society. This is why men, simps, a lot of them are running overseas and getting Filipinas because they get a better bang for their buck. But the average man does not need a woman to survive because we've lived without them for so long. We live without them. We live without them before, and we live without them afterwards, and we survive without them. If a woman is unable to get alimony or have the state subsidize her living after she gets a divorce, she's basically going to find herself often in a state of poverty and destitution. While modern men are in their era, and some girls are just out here trying to shame us, say, "Oh, you're in your soft boy era. These are soft boys." We don't care. We're out here living our best lives, and men are moving on. They are moving on.
Ladies, it's a women's world and men are just living in it. Why are they playing Cheetah Girls at the bar? Cheetah Girls. When I showed up to this bar, why was the bartender singing I'm a Slave for You by Britney Spears? Didn't know that I was listening. I heard I'm a slave. I was like, oh, get it, Roger. And Shakira started playing. Why were the guys at the bar singing to Shakira? Like I said, it's a women's world and men are just living in it.
You see, what's interesting is the fact that if these women are listening to songs by like Bad Bunny or any male artist, it's cool, okay? You don't bash a woman for listening to Kendrick Lamar. You don't bash a woman for listening to Eminem. But men are bashed for listening to Rihanna. Men are bashed for listening to Katy Perry. Oh, that's girl music. Men are done being this in-between type of thing where we have to be masculine, pretend to be masculine, but then at the same time sensitive and all sorts of nonsense. Men don't care anymore. Okay? A lot of guys grew up watching Cheetah Girls and Disney, so they're like connecting with the things that they know. Okay? Everybody liked Britney Spears back in the day. Hit me, baby, one more time. Like, no one, guys, this is how bad shaming has gotten with women, where on one hand, they're constantly attacking you for your toxic masculinity, but then on the other hand, they're constantly attacking you for not being masculine enough. Back in the 90s, we could listen to Britney Spears. Back in the 90s, we were all playing songs by Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston. Okay? This is nothing new. Every girl wanted to be Britney Spears back then. Christina Aguilera, we were all listening to these songs. And then somewhere along the way, women began shaming us based on our taste in music. I was with this girl once years ago, and she's like, "Oh, let's listen to some songs on my phone." And she's like, "Okay, yeah, these are girl songs though." And it was just like mainstream music, and I'm like, "Are you shaming me for liking songs by Britney? You're shaming me for liking songs by Christina? You're shaming me for liking songs by Rihanna? You're shaming me for liking songs by Dua Lipa?" I'm just giving you like examples. Like, this is the toxic world we live in with modern women, and they don't even seem to realize it. They are pushing men out of society. They are pushing us away, and then the first thing that they do, the fastest thing that they do, is they grab their phones and then they put us on blast just for listening to music, just for enjoying ourselves, just because we are walking away. And then when we walk away, they'll also say that, oh, men who are walking away are dangerous to women too. That's just to show you how much they do not like us. They have never liked us. And the more that they do this, the more they are alienating us. The more they try to destroy spaces and everything that we enjoy. Most of us are not even hanging out with one another anymore. Most of us don't even have any close friends anymore. We just hop on and play some video games and stay to ourselves. And they want to torment us and torture us in our homes because we're leaving society. What are you doing at home? Playing games. Okay, so we're going to make sure you're miserable at home too. We're going to destroy the games. We're going to take over the gaming industry, and people who do not like games are going to start making those games. All right? There are plenty of girl gamers, but the girl gamers are not the ones they're featuring in these videos for like new Nintendo for girls playing Nintendo Switch. No, women playing Nintendo Switch. They're not featuring these people. They don't give a damn about these people. We have Animal Crossing Grandma. Okay? If they really wanted to show you what a real gamer looked like, they would have Animal Crossing Grandma in there. They would have Skyrim grandma in there. We have an 80-year-old, 88, or maybe she's 90 now. I think she's 88. 88-year-old woman. She's known as Skyrim grandma. These women are hardcore gamers. They don't want them. They don't want them. They want these individuals with pink hair and toxic ideologies that don't like us. You know what they're not trying to, these companies, Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, they don't want female gamers. They're not trying to attract female gamers. They don't want female gamers because female gamers want the same things that male gamers want in games. They want beautiful women, beautiful men, and good experiences. They don't want female gamers. They want the modern audience, the people who do not play games and hate games entirely. Those are the people they're trying to court. They made a bunch of they made a bunch of backroom deals with BlackRock, and now they have to pay up. And as these companies are dying and dissolving and facing destitution and despair, they're still lashing out. They're lashing out at gamers for not buying their garbage games, not wanting their garbage games, pushing these terrible messages, and they're just making remake after remake or remaster after remaster, and even in the remasters they're like removing things and changing things around. Like, that's why you have to be very careful when it comes to things like books, because digital books, because they are going to change things. They're going to remove things from these books. Amazon is going to remove things from these books and then act like they haven't done anything. These companies are criminal. Can't trust any of them. But guys, yeah, girls, stop lying. You're just hurting. You are hurting and you are crying because these men do not want you. You know? Women said we don't want these men, so men said, okay, bet. We'll go overseas and find someone who does, or we're just going to go walk away or go our own way and basically not get married, not have children, reduce our spending and live happily in a shoebox at the side of the road. We're going to live simple lives of comfort and luxury. I mean, guys, think about this carefully. If you're a man and you don't have a wife, you could spend $1,000 a month by the time you get to a certain point in your life on video games if you wanted to. The average guy isn't going to, but you could. You could spend a lot of guys get to points in their lives where they make just enough money to survive and thrive, and that's it. But they're not saving up any money to get married or to spend money on anyone else. When men start just worrying about themselves and not worrying about anyone else, they see how quickly their lives improve. Also, what women have done running around in society with Chad and Tyrone and racking up these high body counts, they don't understand that this makes them less attractive to men. So if men do not find them attractive, if men do not want to be physically intimate with them, what are women going to do? Punish them because the men don't want to be physically intimate with them? Women have built a society, and what they've built everything based around kitty. Like, oh, well, if, we have the kitty, so men will always want us, or you don't want to be alone, but, if you don't want to be alone, then you're going to have to get with us and do what we say, and put up with us. And that's not true. That's absolutely not true. Men don't have to put up with them. Men do not have to put up with any BS. Okay? Most men are now happier to be alone, especially after they've been in relationships or been married. They are grateful to be alone, and they're listening to guys like Uncle Angry. They're like, thanks, Uncle Angry. Thanks, Uncle Angry. Yeah, I'm going to stay home. I'm going to stay alone and play my video games and live in peace. When you start telling these boys, 13-year-old boys, listen, bro, when you mess around with girls, listen, you're going to lose the PlayStation. You're going to lose your nice video game collection. All right? That's an expensive collection. That's going to get cut in half. That's going to get cut in half, little man. All right? We love to play games as adults, too. We just don't have time. When you start focusing on women, you're going to spend all your time trying to earn money and do all of these things so that you can then subsidize a woman's living so that you'll have access to kitty. You can go mess your life up, get dragged into child support hearings, little bro. You don't want that. But if you don't listen, you're going to feel, and then you become a bitter man, like many of us. And I'm not saying, yeah, I'm a little bitter. I'm definitely a little bitter. But I'm also enlightened and awakened. And I'm telling other men, let me tell you right now, I do not HATE women. I don't. Not that takes way too much work. I'm just making men aware of what female nature is and what men are facing in Western society, and why it's very, very important that you do not get married, do not have children, especially not in Western society, and instead focus on your own happiness. It's why it's so important to walk away. If you want to have a relationship, go overseas. But don't do it in America, and be smart about it. For example, take my passport bro master class, because I'm a traveler. I know what I'm doing. But I've suffered overseas. Like, there are things that happen to me, and I wish I knew these things. Like knowing to get a lawyer before you sign a contract for a place, you know? Or understanding when you go to, you go shopping and you're dealing with someone working somewhere, and these people ask you how long you're going to be in the country. The reason why they're asking you that, or how long you're going to be in the place, the reason why they're asking you that is so they can figure out how much time they have to rob you. Sometimes it's just a matter of you coming back and them taking advantage of you and draining you for more money than they should be, overcharging you for things. Other times it's literally they're trying to figure out how much time they have so that they can scope you out and possibly rob you. So you don't really tell people too much about yourself. Another good detail: oh, who are you here with? Oh, I'm here with my family. I'm traveling with my family. I've got my family here, blah, blah, blah. Never tell anyone that you are alone. Never let people know that you're estranged from your family. Never do not let them know, because people will target you. Then they're gonna figure like, oh, so this person is alone. We can do whatever we want to them. These are things I had to learn on my own. So if you guys want to travel overseas, you have to have some knowledge. You don't just want to pick up and say, I'm gonna grab my passport. You have to learn from the pros. All right, I have a passport King's masterclass linked in the description if you want to go and take the masterclass and learn how to travel safely. I take my 10 years of experience and I put it in there. But guys, let me know what you guys think about all of this. Do you agree that these women right now, the rent is due, they're broke, they don't know how they're going to pay it, and now they're pissed off, so they're trying to come up with just about anything to demoralize men and get them back to the plantation where they want them? Let me know your thoughts and we'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away, and cheers.